We're ready to go now, Jake.
I was ready a while ago, and now I'm not.
Well, now I'm ready.
All right. Well, look, we'll try this. We're doing a bit of an experiment. No, this sucks. Let's start over. Wait, do you have one of those, a clapper? Because, this is our first video thing.
Here you go. There.
Snickles video episode 1, take 1. Wait. Do it again. This will be where the video begins, okay? Wait, aren't I supposed to say what take it is before you clap?
No, that's only with movies.
Okay.
This is a video podcast. It doesn't
Okay,
matter.
clap one more time. Snickles video podcast take episode 1 take 55. That way people think that we've been working really hard on it.
I'm just making sure that my microphone clips.
Oh, good.
Several
Yeah.
times.
We usually we don't clip enough when we're recording.
Yeah.
This is Snickles, the video podcast. I'm Jake, the blue Snickle Smith.
I'm Darren, the golden voice Snickle. Just listening to a lot of street noises today. I'm recording in a different room this time at my house. Nobody's home.
Oh.
And stuff is going absolutely insane, as it usually does in LA. There was just a garbage truck outside that was... I think it was a garbage truck. I never got a good look at it, but it sounded garbagey. Sounded like garbage. And now there's 15 sirens going on same time. Just another day in
16.
LA. That's how LA works, I think.
Darren, you live in Compton,
somewhere.
right?
I live in an offshoot of Compton. I live in Inglewood.
Oh, okay.
The more dangerous Compton.
Inglewood, the more dangerous Compton. That's what it says when you enter the city limits.
It's Compton for Compton. So for people from Compton, Inglewood is Compton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What is Inglewood's Compton?
Inglewood's Compton is Compton.
Oh, that's... So
yeah.
The more dangerous part of Inglewood is Compton, and the more dangerous part of Compton is Inglewood?
Yeah, it's really just bad communication between the two that's causing that. And
I got that water before we started recording?
Yeah, you got a water. You did get a water. You're looking around for it right now.
No, just keep talking about this because it's riveting. But I'm gonna go grab my water.
Jake, okay, so here's the thing. We spent a bunch of time setting this thing up. We're doing a video podcast. It's one of the first of hopefully many, and we're gonna post it on YouTube at some point. And before we started recording, Jake said he was gonna go get a water. It appears, I don't know Jake's setup. I don't know if he has a desk, if he's just doing it off of a nightstand.
I have a bunch of yoga mats
of a small table
stacked up.
And I have just a little space right here for my seltzer.
Oh.
And that's just what I drink as we're rolling. Sometimes I have a water bottle standing by, but I'm a seltz boy. I like the bubbles. I like getting that air deep inside my esophagus and just shooting up out so I can make a bunch of rude noises later. I'm a rude boy, as they would call me in Jamaica.
That's true.
As they have called me in Jamaica.
Darren
never been there before.
Darren is the rude Snickle, as we've always established.
I am the rudest boy of the Snickles.
I just keep a cup of filtered tap water. I just keep it on the floor. Because I don't like the idea of actually nunking nunking it onto my keyboard.
Of nunking it on your keyboard, yeah.
Yeah, my mom always told me, Jake, if you keep water on your desk, you're gonna nunk it onto your keyboard.
Yeah. And well, basically, like I hated, so like when I was a kid, my siblings always used to nunk me into the pool, in the public pool. And that's not fun because it would always be in like a, it always end up getting nunked into a vorm spot.
Oh,
and I don't like getting nunked into vorm spots,
Yeah. Speaking of, did you watch the Slam Dunk contest?
I didn't watch this year. I watched a couple years before this one because nobody watches the Slam Dunk contest.
Oh yeah, I meant, did you watch replays of the 2006 contest?
Oh yeah, that's what I watch every morning before I start my day.
Okay. Yeah.
That
was a good
Can
one.
you nunk it out? It's like that's Caesar's song. The Seizures song?
Yeah.
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 And the truck is back. The truck has returned.
This is really good. We've made a good
This
choice.
truck has returned. It is strong. It is coming in strong. It is just circling the block. It's like my house it's like a vulture and my house is a dead body. It's just circling around the block. I think it's stalking somebody who lives here.
Be careful, because the grill of that truck could just nunk its way through your wall and just...
Yeah, my least favorite thing is getting dump nunked, by a big dump truck.
What? I thought it was getting nunked into warm water.
Well, that was when I was a kid. Now, that was my least favorite thing. Now, my least favorite thing is getting dump nunked.
I actually have a second cup over here, and I've got a Nunkachino.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you peed in it for some prank we're doing today. Like you're going to drink your own pee.
I got you. I'm going to drink my own pee off stream. Off vid.
Off stream?
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. Hang on a sec.
This is live, right?
Yeah, this is absolutely live.
Darren told me to hang on, so I don't know what's going on, but I think this is going really good. I don't think we made a mistake in doing this.
No, we're good now.
all.
We're absolutely good now. We're doing
I don't
great.
think that I don't regret doing this even a little bit.
Jake, how was your week, buddy? We got two big ones to talk about this episode in terms of reviews.
That's
I
true.
mean, they're somewhat big. They're not gigantic, but
Well, yeah. I think you'll know how big they are after we talk about them and discuss whether or not they're big. I think once we have that discussion, the listeners will, and the viewers, they'll all know how big they were.
Yeah. I mean, sure. I say we just get on with it and let them make that call.
I'm saying once we do get on with it, then they can make that call. I think we're saying the same thing here.
And I think the longer we spend, the closer we should be getting to those reviews.
Yeah, and sometimes that's not the case. Including
okay,
right
Jake.
Now.
See now what you gonna do? Now what you gone and did is you gone test my patience. Okay, so I just asked how your week was, and you keep dancing around this this preliminary revol stuff. Preliminary revol. I say we just nunk ourselves into this revol.
There's a reason that I haven't answered your question yet. And I tried to text you about this and you didn't text me back, so I think that I think that's maybe why you're bringing it up now, is to try to embarrass me on the pod, but yeah, Darren, I lost my memory of the last 2 weeks. So when you ask me that question, it's actually, you're really attacking me personally. So that's why I didn't want to answer. That's why I wanted to talk about how big what we're reviewing might be.
I just like, how did you do that? Like, I know we talked about this before, but like, how did you forget? Did you forget to like bring it? Like, what happened? Did you get it removed? What happened? Did you hit your head?
I had it on the subway and I accidentally left it, and then when I went back, I went to talk to the
At the restaurant
people. It was
subway or
gone.
the train?
No, on the train.
So you went back to talk to the people and it was gone?
I went back to the restaurant because I couldn't remember which subway it was, so I was doing my best to piece it together from context clues. But they didn't have it at the restaurant, so I don't know where it is, Darren.
Evidently, I think it's safe to say that you're gonna have a tough road ahead of you. Did you see?
What does road mean?
Oh, so you lost everything back that far.
I lost my last 2 weeks of memory, Darren.
But okay, so you're insinuating that you learned what the word road meant in the last 2 weeks?
Everything that has happened that I've learned, everything in the last 2 weeks is just gone. Just
everything in the last 2 weeks. Okay.
It's as if God took a straw and put it in my ear and just blew the last 2 weeks out.
So let's think about let's try and remedy this. What did we talk about last 2 episodes? And did you see Birds of Prey before the last 2 episodes?
Oh wait. I was working on this one before we talked. A bird is they're in the sky, right?
So you also learned the word bird within the last 2 weeks. The first time you had ever heard the word bird was in the last 2 weeks.
I don't know if I learned it then, but I didn't know it earlier today. Someone was talking to me about birds earlier, so either I never knew what they were or I did know and I've forgotten. It's sort of the same thing at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter because you don't know what it means. I can't ask you what other words you don't know because you don't know the words. Do you know who Harley Quinn is? Do you know who Margot Robbie is?
Margot Robbie, yeah, she was in Bombshell.
There you go.
Most famous for being in the movie Bombshell.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but she's probably most famous for her role as Harley Quinn.
Oh yeah, I know. That's from Suicide Squad, the best movie ever.
So you know that. So
one of the best films of all time.
So Birds of Prey is a movie about that.
About Margot Robbie being in Suicide Squad? It's like a documentary?
No, it's not a documentary. It's about the character that she plays, Harley Quinn.
Sorry, who plays Harley Quinn?
Margot Robbie, but you knew that already because you explained that she was in Suicide Squad, so you had to have known who Margot Robbie was.
I didn't know that was her character's name.
You didn't know
I thought her character's name was Daddy's Little Monster.
But when I said, here's the thing, Jake. When I said, do you know who Harley Quinn is? You said, oh yeah, from Suicide Squad. So you associated those two pretty quickly.
Oh, I forgot that I did that.
Okay, so now you're starting to lose memory as we go here, and that doesn't seem like it's good. There's no way you would have seen Sonic before the last 2 weeks because I think it's only
Sega.
Yes. So you know that there's a Sonic film out then, right?
Who?
Okay, so what are we gonna do, Jake? How are we gonna refresh your memory?
Let's just go back and re-record the episode we did 2 weeks ago, and then just keep going forward like that.
I don't think that's. I don't think people want to hear that. I think if people want to listen to the other episodes, they can find them on iTunes, Stitcher, or Google Play. Give us a 5-star review; it really helps. Yeah, or just give us any review. Because if you don't like parts about the podcast, you should just let us know because we want to make it the best podcast that we possibly can.
You can text Darren if you don't like the show. I'll just give out his phone number real quick. I'm pulling it up, Darren.
That's okay, Jake. You don't need to
My
tell
phone's
everybody
going
my
really
phone
slow.
number.
Sorry, what were we talking about? What?
We were talking about your memory, how you lost it at a Subway. What did you order at the Subway?
I didn't lose my memory. I remember. What? How much did I say I forgot?
2 weeks. Everything that happened in the past 2 weeks.
I remember the past 2 weeks because it was the Summer Olympics. Remember?
So that was how many years ago? That was 2 years.
No.
Was that 2 years?
That was. They just ended.
When was the last Summer Olympics? And how am I supposed to know this?
A couple days ago. What do you mean?
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
I think
Jake,
that America got the bronze in fencing.
Jake, what year is that? What fucking year is that?
What year do you think it is?
You know about Suicide Squad, but the last thing you remember is you think 2 weeks ago America won the bronze in fencing.
I know about what?
You know about Suicide Squad. You just fucking said you did.
What? Darren, don't. If I did lose my memory, it's fucked up to mess with me.
I'm not fucking messing with you. You're losing. So what you're saying is you're losing your memory as the podcast.
No, that's
goes,
what
as this
you're
episode goes
saying.
on.
Apparently,
No, that's what's happening. I see it.
I remember everything with perfect clarity.
No, okay. You think 2 weeks ago America won the bronze in the Summer Olympics?
For fencing, they won other Olympics, other events.
Jake, I have to give me a sec. I have to grab my phone so I can research what year you are in.
Darren, what year do you think it is?
I know for a fact it's 2020 right now.
Darren, it's 2012.
No, it's so you think it's 2012 was the fencing time. Okay.
What do you mean was the fencing? That's when America won
That's when
bronze.
I graduated. I graduated high school in 2012.
Yeah, I'm going to graduate next year. I'm really excited to be a senior.
Jake, let's see. You're 2 years younger than me, I think, right? So you're So how do you know me? Because we met in college. So how do you know me?
I guess we haven't met yet then?
So, but you're aware that you've been doing this podcast with me for like over a year now.
What is a podcast?
So you're doing a podcast. You're doing that right now with me. And the reason we started this podcast was because you had your own podcast originally called Get Jake to Space. And you had me as a guest and you said, "Oh, we should do this every week." And then I was like, "Sure."
What is
and that's
Get
how
Jake
this
to
podcast
Space?
started. You were the first one of us to have a podcast.
Darren, are you sure that that's true? What was it about?
It was about you going to space.
Did I get there?
Yes. You've been to space. Your bone density is horrible.
Wait, Darren, okay. What day is it?
Today it's Tuesday.
Okay, I agree with that.
Okay, so so
This is a podcast? What is that?
you
Like the Apple
Okay.
iPod Shuffle?
Yeah, but Jake, in 2012 there was more than the more than the iPod Shuffle came out. It was
Yeah, there is more than that currently
Okay.
in 2012. I
Good.
don't know.
So we agree
I
on
don't know
that.
why you're saying was.
At least we had the iPod Touch and the iPhone. iPhone 2 or something like that was out in 2012.
Yeah, 2012. Let's see. That's the year that it is, and there's at least.
I think it was
2
iPhone
out.
4. It was the iPhone 4 in 2012.
Yeah, let's see, because it is 2012 right now, and it's at least the iPhone 2.
No, it's 2020 right now.
It's at least the iPhone 2. I'm pretty sure.
It's 2020 now, so yeah, it is at least the iPhone 2. You're correct in that, but it's actually I think the iPhone 11 is what's out right now.
Do you think Obama's gonna get reelected?
No, Jake. No. You're really not going to believe who is president right now.
Wait, did Obama get kicked out?
He didn't get kicked out. He ran his term. His term's over.
He didn't get He's not gonna get reelected. You're saying?
He got reelected and then his term ran out.
He got elected in 2008.
And guess who took his place? Make some guesses as to who took his place.
Did Marilyn Monroe and that baseball player ever have a kid? Is it him?
Jake, Marilyn Monroe. What baseball player? Who are you talking about, babe?
Joe DiMaggio?
Joe DiMaggio. What? I never heard about that. I don't know anything about that.
About the baseball player that Marilyn Monroe was married to?
No, I didn't know they were married. I don't know anything about Marilyn Monroe. I wasn't alive then.
Darren, what year do you think it is?
It's 2020, Jake.
Okay, it's in the future, but you know less than me somehow?
Also, you were last time we talked, so you get like $20,000 from this podcast every week. And last time we talked, you said you were going to give all of it to me.
I get $20,000 from this a week?
Yeah, and last time we talked, you're like, I'll just give it to you. You said you pretty much had to.
How do I get it?
Through your Venmo.
Oh, what's that?
That's an app where people pay. You can just check your phone.
Sorry, what's
just
an app?
Actually, yeah, check your phone because you'll realize.
What is an app?
Oh wait, you have an Android. Never mind, you have an Android. I forgot about that. So Androids are irrelevant with the times, really.
Okay,
so.
you think 8 years from now we're gonna have androids? What, like
Jake,
artificial intelligence?
Android was already like a relevant company in 2012. This is a stupid.
You think we're gonna have artificial intelligence in
Jake.
8 years?
So now like
I'm just gonna have something in my house
what?
that I can just talk, like a robot I can just talk to that will give me information. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you actually have one in your house now. You have one in your apartment now.
Oh yeah, I see it over there, Darren. What are you talking about?
Say, okay, Google. How many people? Say, okay, Google. Who is the president right now?
Okay. Google, who is the president right now? Darren, I don't know.
You paused too much between okay and Google, so now you're really testing my patience.
I don't know who you are, so I don't know why you're talking.
You literally said my fucking name at the beginning of this fucking episode, Jake.
What is an episode?
Is your memory deteriorating as this podcast goes on?
What is a podcast?
We've been over this. And podcasts existed in 2012. They were like rampant in 2012.
Like what? Name one.
I believe Comedy Bang Bang was in 2012. I think the Joe Rogan Experience was in 2012.
Oh, are you talking about Comedy Death Ray with Scott Aukerman?
That was a radio show, Jake, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're talking about radio. Is this? Are we
No,
on
I'm
the
talking
radio
about
right
podcasts.
Now? Is that what this microphone is for? Are we on the radio?
So yeah, your memory's deteriorating into just like a couple seconds before now, and that seems to be the case. So I don't know if that means that
There's
I need
tape
to.
on this.
I don't know if this means that I need to just be the sole host of this. Yeah, no, I see that.
There's tape on this. Hey.
Cool.
Hey.
Oh, so it's a couple seconds now. Now it's just like every second.
Hey, there's tape on this.
I see. Yeah.
It's
Jake,
coming
this
off.
is Jake.
Hey,
Fucking. What is your word? What is your safe word? God damn it! What is your like snap back word?
oh, snapbacks, dude.
Ayahuasca.
Yeah. The
Ayahuasca.
the coolest hats right now in 2012 are snapbacks.
Ant-Man.
The obscure comic book hero.
God damn it. I'm trying to
man
think of trigger words for you.
The shrinking man. What does trigger mean? That's not
Baba
a concept.
Booey.
That's not a
Booey.
concept in 2012.
I believe trigger words were concepts in 2012.
Not as far as I know. The thing about 2012 is that I saw Inception and I really get it. That's what's really cool is that I get Inception.
Oh my god.
wanna
There's
talk
a
about-
movie called 2012 that came out in I think 2011.
Do you want to talk about Inception?
No, we're past that.
Whoa, what is this?
I have no idea.
A text. But who is Zorgig? Hold on, I need to
Oh,
reply
thank
to
God.
this. I need
Thank
to
God.
reply.
This might be Oh, thank God. This might actually be a good thing. Jake, it is 2012. You don't have any you don't know who Zorgog is. He's a bad man. Don't talk to him.
Wait, who? Zorgog, you said?
Zorgog. Yeah, he's a bad dude.
He's a bad dude. Why is
There's
he
no
texting?
reason you should be talking to him.
He's texting me asking how I'm feeling. Should
Yeah,
I
don't reply. Don't reply.
I'm gonna text back. Pretty
Holy
good.
shit, this is a mind
A
experiment.
little
Don't
sore
reply.
in the hip. It's a mind experiment?
It's a mind. Jesus Christ. It's a mind. So anyway,
Okay,
Zorgog
I texted
is
him.
not someone you should be talking to. It is 2012. We can keep talking about this later.
Okay.
Zorgog is not someone you should be talking to
Wait, why? What's wrong with him?
because he's a problem. He's not good for you. He's
I've never heard of him before. Also, I've never met you before because we don't meet until college apparently. So why should I trust
But
you?
I'm good. I'm
Okay.
good. I'm a creative source for you.
Would Zorgog say he's a bad guy? Or would he say
No,
that
he
he's
wouldn't.
good?
There's no way he would say he's a bad guy.
Okay, well, what makes you and him different then? What if he said that you were a bad guy?
He probably is. I mean, he probably would say I'm a bad guy because I am trying to protect you from him. Because he's dangerous to you.
Oh, yeah, hold on. Hello?
No.
Oh,
No.
I'm supposed to be at a
Jake.
meeting right now.
Hang up the phone.
Uh,
Hang up the phone.
yeah,
Hang
I'm
up the
talking
phone,
to some
Jake.
guy. He says it's a podcast?
Oh,
Yeah, I've never heard of
no.
them either. He says that Comedy Death Ray is on the radio, which is true. So I don't really know what that has to do with it, but he says that it's a podcast. Yeah, it looks like it looks weird because I'm talking to him, but it doesn't even look like he's in a real room or
Oh
anything.
no. Jake,
looks
is
like
this the
he's-
end of
He's on a stage.
God, I
something.
hope No, I'm not on a stage.
He's
This
got
is-
one of
this
those
is a green
green
screen.
things behind him. I don't know what
You
they're
have a
called.
blue screen behind you.
What?
You have a blue screen behind you too.
Hold on a second. What?
You have a blue screen behind you.
This is a sheet.
God damn it. I hope this is the end. Is this the end of your
There's tape on
fucking
this.
Zorgog character arc? Jake, this is
Hey.
so that's a cult.
There's
The thing
tape,
that so the
there's
Zorgog guy,
tape on this.
I see that. The Zorgog guy, that's a cult. He's a cult leader. You know the Jonestown massacre? That happened before 2012.
Wait, you want me to just repeat the words that you say?
Don't
Okay.
repeat what he's saying.
Rebel, lemon,
God damn. Stop.
Apple.
No.
grasshopper,
Why?
sock, Eiffel
Stop.
Tower.
Stop. Okay, Jake. just okay. Now a car alarm's going off outside my apartment.
Ooh. Hey. Darren?
Okay, you fucking.
What's going
You know
on?
what I just went through?
I don't know. Are you ready to record? Should we talk about it?
Okay,
on
no,
pod?
Jake. You're recording right now. I'm recording right now. You just lost all of your memory, and then Zorgog called and gave you some password, like some Konami code for humans that makes it so that you just fucking all of a sudden regained your memory back.
Darren.
Oh my god.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, we were recording. Then you asked me how my week was, and then my headphones fell off.
God damn it, Jake. Let's just start. You know what? We're too deep into this.
Wait, I thought we were just starting.
No, we're
I didn't get to
halfway
talk
into
about my
this
week.
podcast. We're halfway in. We gotta
No,
start.
I
We
haven't
gotta
even
start
talked.
getting into reviews, bud.
I haven't even talked about my week yet.
No, you did. Trust me, you did.
Okay, I guess.
What'd you see, Jake?
Well, I saw Birds of Prey, of course.
Yeah, okay. That's what I
With
wanted to get to.
Starring
and you
Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn.
Yeah, okay. So you know. So now you know. I was trying to get to that earlier, and you didn't know.
Why? I saw it before you. We talked about it on this pod. So
This is just a proof. Don't join any cults. Everybody listening, don't ever join a cult. If somebody has you doing any sort of repeat meetings where they make you wear specific clothes and then undress, that is not good. That's probably a cult. They have mind control powers.
yeah, Darren, just like the host of this podcast, we both agree: don't join any cults.
Jesus, Jake,
Hey,
practice what you preach.
I don't preach. I'm not in any religion or anything.
Oh my god.
Do you want to talk about Birds of Prey?
Yeah, let's talk about Birds of Prey.
Oh, wait. Sorry. Oh, did you bring up Birds of Prey earlier and I was confused what you're talking about?
Yes,
'Cause
let's
I
just
think
talk
I might-
about
I
it.
think, I think I might know what the problem was. Were you talking about Birds of Prey and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn?
That's
Is
not
that
even
what
the
you're-
that's not even the running title now. Now it's Harley Quinn Birds of Prey. They changed it because it
Did they
wasn't doing
really?
good enough box office numbers. Yes. They changed the title
When?
like 2 weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah.
What about The Edge of Tomorrow, which they changed the title to Live, Die, Repeat?
Did they? No, they did. They really changed the Are you serious?
Wait, hold on, because this is
I thought that was the tagline for the movie.
okay. It was marketed as Live, Die, Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow, or Live, Die, Repeat. Oh, I think this is like the home media release, and then they changed it to All Edge of Tomorrow. One of those was first. I can't remember. It's based on a manga called All You Need Is Kill. Oh wait, fuck. Where? Okay. There's supposed to be a sequel coming out called Live, Die, Repeat, and Repeat, which is that's the worst.
That's a pretty horrible title. It sounds like a cash grab. Anyway, yes,
Yeah, for
I
that
believe they did rename
Wildly successful movie.
Well, it did do pretty well, didn't it? It got good reviews at least. I don't know. Critically, it did really well. That's all I remember.
I'm mad that they changed the title because I love a long title. I love a long title and saying the whole thing.
Yeah.
What's that noise in the background?
My background?
Yeah.
Does it sound like honking of horns or does it sound like humming?
sounded like music, but it could be.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what the music is, but there's a siren going on right now.
Oh. Darren, Birds of Prey. Harley Quinn's Birds of Prey, whatever it's called. Let's talk about it.
Okay. Yeah. What did you think? I'm gonna let you go first.
I just queued you up to talk about it.
I know, but I go first every time. And I need a rest because I was just trying to convince you that the proper year was the proper year.
Darren, I don't know let's just fucking move on from whatever you're talking about, okay?
I'm getting sirens anyway, so you need to talk.
Birds of Prey is, I think it's an interesting movie. It starts with it does this thing that I don't particularly like in movies where it starts and then it's like, but wait, let's see how I got here, and then it like goes back. But it kind of does work because I think like Harley Quinn as a character has a pretty like clear voice, and she does seem like sort of like scattered, so it would sort of make sense that if she's telling a story, she would tell it like, oh wait, let me go back. So I can kind of buy it more so than like other stuff that does it. I think that a movie needs to have like a really solid reason to have voiceover, period, but also like especially that kind of voiceover. I think it really like it's just so easy to do it poorly, I think. And I think it does actually a fairly decent job. Yeah, so it's a weird movie because it's kind of like a crime movie. It's really not a superhero movie.
It's a super villain movie.
Yeah, kind of.
I guess, I don't know. Harley Quinn doesn't have any superpowers, so it's not really a super villain movie.
But there is a superpower used, which is kind of weird when that one thing comes in. Anyway, it's about like it's following Harley Quinn right after she and the Joker break up. She's still acting as if they're still together because she knows that. First of all, I feel like she's kind of in denial, and she knows that if people knew that they broke up, she would have to pay for her actions for once. There'd be consequences, which no one wants. So she's just sort of running amok.
That's related to our next movie, because there's a meme of the Sonic kid, saying, when will you learn? When will you learn that your actions have consequences? And he screams at the... You know what? You don't know the meme, so I'm just going to forget it.
Okay. Cool.
It's worth a watch. Check it out, everybody. When will you learn? When will you learn that your actions have consequences? You know what? I'm gonna go on a tangent and I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play the audio clip right now.
You're gonna play the audio clip right now, in the middle of me try. After
in the middle of, I'm gonna play the Sonic clip.
After asking me to be the one to talk about.
Just can't ever be quenched. Your fantasies can't ever be quenched, can they? You freaking freaks! When will you learn? When will you learn that your actions have consequences?
What is this
There you
from?
go. That is I think like an 8 or 9 year old boy, maybe 10, screaming at his computer about Team Sonic's choice to make, I think, Shadow the Hedgehog.
What? Team Sonic's choice to make Shadow the Hedgehog? What the fuck does
Instead
that
of
mean?
like a Sonic Adventure 3, I think. I think he was mad that
Oh, okay,
yeah.
so this is old, like real old.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I do remember that from way back in the day. Anyway, yeah, it follows Harley Quinn. She like finally accepts that she broke up with this guy. Ewan McGregor's character, who I didn't realize it was him while I was watching it. He's fucking freaky. Basically, he wants Harley's life because she's been like an asshole to him for a long time, and the Joker's not saving her anymore. She offers to help him out by getting this diamond that this girl has stolen and eaten. So she sort of gets that girl. She gets the girl, Ramona Flowers from Scott Pilgrim, First the World. Ramona Flowers, is that her name? Yeah.
Are you talking about Huntress?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
doesn't really get her. She just kind of tags along.
They all team up. They all team up. They get a cop who's fed up with the broken system, and this girl who can sing really well and is a badass. And they're all like, let's go be badass women together. Let's fucking kill Ewan McGregor and all his guys. Yeah, that's basically the plot, right?
Yeah, I think
Thing
so.
With a sandwich. She's got a pet hyena named Bruce because she thinks Bruce Wayne is hunky, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, it's pretty ironic. Yeah, and she like has this attachment to a breakfast sandwich that actually looks very delicious in the movie. As far as story goes, I mean, it's all over the place. It is a mess. It's not quite as bad as like Suicide Squad in terms of messiness and story structure, but it is messy. But I think for this particular story, it's that I can let slide. I think it's okay. But I was confused at like several parts in the story. I was like, where are we chronologically right now?
Yeah.
And then, for Harley Quinn, for Joker characters like that, I think that's okay. Just, as long as it eventually translates. So like, they spend a lot of time going back, like up until like the middle of the movie. They're pretty much like going to a part, and then they're like, well, here's what happened before that. And then they go to another part, and they're like, well, here's what happened before that. And then they'll go to another part and be like, well, here's what happened before that. That confused me quite a bit. And then I think the narration sort of helped people like me who can't keep up with that.
I can't imagine being
stay on
confused
track.
by a timeline.
You
Like,
can't
it's
imagine
just-
being confused by a timeline.
Yeah, that's just crazy to me.
Yeah. I mean, you were the only person to understand Inception, so.
I wasn't the like. Look, I got Inception. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
I
I
think
think.
that.
Oh. You go. Even though you did tell me to give my thoughts.
No, give your thoughts, Jake.
No, I was just gonna say, going off of what you say, like I agree, it is messy, but it almost, I sort of forgive it because it is Harley Quinn, and you're like, I see why this is messy, and also like, while Suicide Squad is messy, it's also like boring, and I just didn't care about any of it. And this movie, it is messy, and there are definitely flaws, but like I like Harley Quinn, and I mean, all the actresses did like a great job. That girl can fucking sing like crazy, and she's a good actress, and I thought she did a great job. So I thought like there was enough that kept my interest that I sort of, if I was ever confused about like what was going on, I was just like, okay, I'm sure that I'll either figure it out later or it won't be that big of a deal because I'm just like interested in what's happening, really.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was entertaining. A lot of the stunt choreography was like really hit or miss. It was kind of strange because it was either like so weak with how some of the stunt guys were like kind of just flailing around, or it was so cool with some of the camera moves that they made in terms of like what each actress did. It was really cool. And yeah, it was very hit or miss. They didn't pull any punches in terms of how evil Black Mask is, which I thought was really good. They didn't really water him down. The jokes too were like, I think they had funnier premises, but most of like when they tried to like make a joke, oftentimes it was an eye roll moment for me. They kind of just like it kind of seemed to be very topical, and not in the sort of way that is like topical on commenting on like a bigger part of the picture of the world at this moment. I think it was more topical in terms of like just pop culture at the time. But I think when it did make me laugh, it was really funny. It was really gut busting. Overall, I just think the action was really good. The story was super crazy and weird. And I think it mostly works. Some of the acting too, I felt was pretty phoned in by sometimes even Margot Robbie. I mean, it seemed like some of her she did great for most of the movie, but like there was a couple like like humorous line deliveries where she seemed to be saying it only because she was heavily directed to, and some of the direction in this movie was also questionable to a certain extent. But I think for the most part, I'm talking a lot of shit about it right now, but for the most part,
Yeah.
it was enjoyable. It was an enjoyable action movie. It's not the favorite thing, but I think it is a good step for DC to make, especially in the way of R-rated superhero movies. I think they should be making more. Not to say that they should be making only R-rated superhero movies. I don't really think it's a good idea to saturate the market with that. But I think it is a worthy medium to explore in, and I think that Birds of Prey is a worthy welcome entry into that world.
I feel like DC, because DC has always been like darker than Marvel, like comics and stuff. And I feel like for some reason when they started their films, they thought that had to be translated into like, these need to be like visually dark, tonally dark, like all that. And I feel like they're sort of figuring out that like we can have like this and Joker, like, oh, we can have like bright colors and like even moments of levity and like even dark shit, like this girl's entire family getting murdered like on top of her, basically. Like we can have that darkness and also like be like, we can, it doesn't have to be like just dark. Like it's like when they were making those first movies, they had a fucking board on the wall and they were like, well, what are DC movies? And it just said dark on it. And
yeah, I know.
They took that like with every choice, and now I feel like they're toning back, and they're like, let's have like some dark stories or some dark ideas, but also make it visually interesting and try to make it like funny and like cool action, and try to actually make like an interesting movie first and foremost. Which I think like I'd say I never saw Justice League, but like Wonder Woman was pretty good. Aquaman, like they're definitely getting on that right track, and it's because they're getting away from like all that stuff they were doing originally. So like seeing this movie, even though it did have problems, of course there were issues, like it makes me hopeful that they're figuring out how to make a balance of that idea of like, oh, we're darker than Marvel while also we want to make entertaining movies. There's somewhere in between there that they were not at all at.
Because I think in the beginning, DC was trying to be dark for dark's sake. I think it's more Warner Bros. Than DC making those mistakes. And yes, I am getting hopeful seeing Birds of Prey, knowing that Warner Bros. Is probably now looking to make better decisions that aren't... It's been kind of bizarre to see this whole learning experience for them. Whereas I feel like Disney and Marvel had it essentially more or less figured out by the time it hit the screens. Not entirely, but it was pretty close to being fully fleshed out. And they at least had pretty good... They were doing a lot better at the time of their inception than Warner Bros. Has been doing. Hang on a sec.
I think you can actually kind of see like a parallel. I think like if DC had started a universe like with the Dark Knight trilogy, I feel like that could really be like their Iron Man, like introduction to the world. And then, because like the first Thor movie's kind of boring. Thor Dark World was like, I feel like that was like one of the worst DC movies, right? So I feel like they did, or the worst Marvel movies, I mean. So I feel like they did sort of like start strong, which DC could have done with the Dark Knight, and then they had like a little dip, and then they figured out like, oh, if we make these movies different tonally, we can have like these more actiony, Captain America movies, as long as we also have like trippy fantasy Doctor Strange and like all this different stuff. Whereas DC was like, oh, the Dark Knight worked, let's just make something dark like that.
Yeah.
So I feel like instead of looking at what Marvel did, where they sort of did have like not as much for sure, but a little bit of a dip in quality, and being like, oh, that's because they were trying to capture that same thing again, and now they're succeeding because they did different stuff. They were like, we're just gonna keep pumping out these dark movies, and then it'll work eventually.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Yeah, I honestly, I'm just happy that, because it's kind of a funny juxtaposition that Huntress was both the darkest character and I thought the funniest character in the movie. Especially because all this dark, horrible things happened to her. Like you said, her family was killed on top of her. And then she's just figuring out how to adapt to the world of being an assassin. And she's also like socially awkward. It's pretty, and she has anger issues at the same time. I thought that was a really funny addition, and it was really good for her character. And I kind of wished that the other characters were as fleshed out as her. I mean, they all had their things, but I feel like Black Canary was probably the weakest of all of the Birds of Prey in terms of how they were written. Anyway, I have to get a hard drive because my video just stopped recording because I'm out of disk space. So I'm just going to give Birds of Prey a rating right now. I give Birds of Prey a 7 out of 10. It's pretty good. It's had its flaws.
So your video's not recording right now? Are you going to go grab that and I should just talk for a little bit?
Yeah, if you want, you can kick off Sonic. I'll be right back.
I'll keep talking about Birds of Prey for a minute. I think that the thing that really, I guess I'm small right now on Darren's, because Darren's not recording this, so whatever. We got a big blank green screen. The thing that I thought was the weirdest, not the weirdest, but the thing that this movie made me think of is that, like, this movie is 1,000 times more violent than Joker. A guy, spoiler, I guess, like, we sort of spoiled other stuff, but, like, there's a guy who gets a grenade pin pulled when it's in his jacket, and we watch him explode on a dock. Like, that is such a dark, violent thing. And the fact that people are, like, so mad about how violent Joker is, while there's, like, this movie that has way more violence, the people who are committing that violence are very clearly who we're cheering for. Whereas in Joker, I think, like, it's a much more complicated relationship of, like, do we empathize with Arthur or not? And it's like, there's violence for laughs. I just think it's, like, weird that Joker is this movie where we're like, this is going to cause theater shootings, and this is going to cause people to think that it's cool to be violent. When this movie has, like, cool characters committing way worse violence. Like, we see it way clearer. It's not as, like, complicated. It's just, like, they want to do violence, so they're doing it. So that's just something that I thought was really interesting in this movie, and about, like, not that it has anything to do with this movie specifically, it's just, I thought that contrast was interesting, and it has a lot more to do with, like, how the media looks at movies and all of that. And yeah, like I said, it doesn't have anything to do with how I felt about the movie, because it's just an observation. I agree almost entirely with everything that Darren said. It's a fun movie, it's a fine movie. I see it as a step in the right direction, like I said. I'd give it also probably a 7 out of 10. It's just like a pretty solid movie that I think they can go a lot of places with. I would love to see more of the Birds of Prey after Harley leaves them, because I do think that they have, like, strong convictions and they have interesting character traits. They're just not totally explored in this movie, which is also sort of fair, because to have, like, 5 characters who you're going to really get into their backstory, that's a lot to deal with. Darren, are you back to... recording?
I am back. I'm not recording yet. We gotta wait a couple minutes.
Okay.
Because I have to transfer the files onto my hard drive.
Okay.
Logistical stuff going on the podcast. Hell yeah.
Is this audio recording though?
Yeah, the audio's still on.
Okay. You're getting the audio. Well, really what that means is that you're not getting video of me because I'm getting video of you during all of this.
Hey, at least we kept those little boxes open, right?
That's true. Yeah. Like the Nirvana song, we got the little boxes.
Yeah, that's my favorite Nirvana song. We got the little boxes.
I will talk about Sonic then if you want. Sonic, this is not... So a podcast that I listen to, one of the guys who wrote like an early draft of Sonic, like the first draft and other like subsequent drafts of Sonic, and he later got replaced and like they aren't credited anymore. So I knew a lot about this, not a lot about the Sonic movie, but I knew like sort of, I had an idea of what to expect tonally and everything from listening to that podcast. It's Evan Stutzer talking on the Doughboys is what I got it from, by the way. And like, just from his like sense of humor and other things I'd heard about it, it set up one idea of the movie and what the movie actually was and what I think it should have been. Well, I think like this is what the movie should have been and this is how it ended up. Not to get too much into my thoughts, but Sonic is a hedgehog. He runs really fast. There's something that's after him. We're not really sure what it is. I don't think. I can't remember if we really know. His mentor or whatever sends him to Earth because it's a safe place, and he has rings that he can use to travel to other places. He wishes to be human, basically. He sees who's the main actor?
I think James Marsden.
Yeah, James Marsden. He sees James Marsden and his girlfriend, wife.
Well, wife, yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're married, yeah.
Yeah, he sees them. He he thinks of these people as his friends, even though he doesn't know them. He sees a baseball game. He wishes that he could play baseball. And that actually leads to him, like, he's playing baseball by himself, and he starts running so fast because he's so angry that he causes, like, this huge power surge that turns off all the power, which is what gets Dr. Robotnik and the CIA, I think.
Just the U.S. government, I would say.
Yeah. Looking into what happened. So Dr. Robotnik comes. Basically, Sonic and James Marsden become friends because Sonic is trying to go somewhere safe, and at the last minute, James Marsden walks in. Sonic thinks about San Francisco, so that's where his ring goes. Then he drops his bag of rings into the ring, so then he has to go to San Francisco to get the rings, basically.
Which is where James Marsden's character is going to work to be a police officer.
That's where he's moving, and his wife already lives there? Or
no, his wife has family out there. And
yeah, she's visiting. This is one of the things that's confusing to me is like why she leaves first to go visit. I mean, I get why he wouldn't go see her sister because her sister does not like him for some reason, some unspecified reason.
I think that's an adult jab. I'll explain. I mean, I guess I could explain right now. I think that's a bit of an adult jab that like adults. It's only meant for adults to get because I think it's a pretty adult joke, and by that I mean it's I think it's a joke about racial tension. I think that's what the joke is, because he's a white cop dating a black woman, and I think that the sister has a heavy watch on him, and I think that adults are only meant to get that joke.
I see what you're saying, but it sort of had the effect with me of being like, I don't know if I like this guy if this woman's sister like dislikes him this much. Like, despite being a man, I tend to distrust men, and I think that like women tend to have a better judgment with these things sometimes. So I sort of was like, is he a bad guy? Like,
yeah,
I definitely questioned it. So that character, I get what you're saying, but it was kind of weird to me, all that stuff. So anyway, Dr. Robotnik's after them. They go on this road trip to San Francisco. All Sonic wants to do, the one thing he has left on his bucket list, is to make a friend. All that James Marsden wants to do is actually be a real cop who saves a life. So of course, spoiler, he saves Sonic's life. Sonic gets a friend. They send Dr. Robotnik to another planet where he becomes a more Eggman-like. Yeah, that's basically the story.
Which, by the way, he's on the mushroom planet that Sonic keeps referring to in the movie in the end, which I thought was kind of funny. By the way, before we get too deep into Sonic, I want to go back to Birds of Prey. Did you stay for after the credits? No, you didn't.
I don't think so.
Okay, so I walked out, and everybody was like, let's stay for after the credits. So I walked out, I checked my phone and just searched, Birds of Prey. Is there a post-credit scene? Oftentimes you can find it. And it was like, yes. So I was like, okay. I walked back in. Everybody who said, let's stay for the credits, has now exited the theater. I'm the only one there, and a guy cleaning up. And I'm standing by the railway just, like, watching it. And I'm like, is this going to be worth it? 100% it was not. Do not stay for after the credits. It's not a scene. It's a narration of Harley Quinn going, let me tell you this secret, Batman, and then it cuts out, and it's one of the dumbest jokes. It was horrible. Do not stay for after the credits for Birds of Prey. That's all I'm going to say. Just wanted to get that out just as a warning to people. But yeah.
I'm glad that you brought that up now.
Yeah, as we're talking about Sonic. I thought Sonic, I was surprised with Sonic. I was very surprised. Because I haven't seen Detective Pikachu, and technically I guess that is a video game movie. But I don't think there's been a single video game movie that I would call good that I've seen.
Yeah.
I think the market is just like not built for video game movies. So when I saw Sonic, I walked out of the theater going, wow, that was actually not bad. I enjoyed it. I thought they kept it pretty simple in terms of the character arcs. Like you said, Sonic's main goal is to have a friend and not be so lonely, which honestly was a very relatable to a lot of people, including myself. That seems like a very relatable goal. And for James Marsden's character, I wish I could think of his name in the movie. For his character's goal, it was to feel like a real cop, like to feel like he's not just doing all of this for nothing.
He's got a weird name that I felt like was a reference to something.
I don't know.
Let me look it up real quick. Keep going with your thoughts though.
And I really felt the emotional connection between Sonic and James Marsden's character throughout the movie. I thought it was really actually well built, and it was a lot of fun. And Jim Carrey had a performance that I feel like we haven't seen since his last big bombastic role, which he hasn't done in forever. I was really happy to see that because I think lots of people think Jim Carrey is really funny. I've met quite a few people who don't think he's very funny, which kind of boggles my mind, but it's an opinion. Anyway,
his name is Tom Wachowski, which I wondered if that was a Matrix nod in any way, but there was nothing else that really led me to believe that it was other than his name.
Interesting.
Can I go on the Jim Carrey thing?
Sure, yeah.
I don't think that Jim Carrey is not. I do think he's funny. Let me say it that way. I think that I think he's made some bad movie choices lately. Lately being a fairly long time span. But I think he definitely can be funny, and I don't always go for comedy when it's just people doing funny voices and pulling faces, which is something that he's really good at. So he's not totally my style anyway. I was totally expecting to think that he was like shitty in this movie, and I really thought he did a good job. I thought this was one of the most like interesting characters I've seen him play in a long time. I think that like I think he really could have phoned it in and done like just a classic Jim Carrey performance. It would have felt like a lot of other things. It would have been good enough. But I felt like he actually did some stuff that felt different or like surprising, especially given like the tone of the movie. I was surprised by like the character choices he made, and for good. I think that it made the character like a lot more interesting, and I could actually like, because I was one of those people who was like, Jim Carrey's gonna be fucking Eggman.
Yeah, I was a little.
Jim
I was a
Carrey
little
with
estranged
hair
by that
and
too.
like his thin, full head of hair. Jim Carrey is gonna be Eggman. But I get why they would cast him after seeing this. Like, he did a good job.
Yeah, he did a very good job, and it was nothing like the video game version of Eggman, which I think is good because I think that departure helps the story, because that would have honestly been kind of strange to see like an exact replica of like the video game Eggman in there. And I think that his character, he even had a really good character arc too. Ultimately, like, he's a very narcissistic, full of himself doctor who just is above everyone. But ultimately, his character arc, his emotional character arc at least, is for validation, which is like he wants to be validated as a real scientist by the U.S. government, which is why he's such an asshole to his assistant, while also being like really nice to his assistant at the same which I thought
like,
was
weirdly
really
supportive.
funny. Yeah, he's very supportive, but he's like also a total asshole, and he doesn't let him take any of the credit, which I thought was a really funny, fun dynamic that they had. And yeah, I just thought he really played that role really well, and I think that a lot of the fun had in the movie was because of him. I was like, normally in movies, I don't want the villain to. I'm like, oh man, if I like, and I because I liked the antagonist, or I like the protagonist. I usually in those type of movies don't want the antagonist to come around, and I'm like, oh, all bummed out. But this time I was really hoping for each scene to kind of have some Jim Carrey in it, and they had enough. They didn't put too much by any means, I think, and it served a good purpose. I honestly had a lot of fun with this movie. I was pleasantly surprised, and I'm gonna give a rating. I give Sonic an 8 out of 10.
Wow. What did I guess you would give it? 7.5?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure.
I think last episode I guessed you would give it a 7.5. I had very different feelings about this movie. I was pretty disappointed in it. I think partially because just like hearing the very few things you said about it, I was like, oh, maybe this movie's actually pretty good. This is like a straight kids movie, which just blows my mind. Because there's not a kid out there who gives a fuck about Sonic the Hedgehog.
That is very inaccurate. My 9-year-old nephew loves Sonic. He is obsessed with Sonic.
They haven't made a new Sonic game in like 5 years, and they don't have a new one.
Yes, they did. They made Sonic Mayhem, which came out like last year.
What?
I think you're just disconnected, Jake.
I looked it up after the movie because I
think you're just an old man.
I was so perplexed why they made this. Are you talking about Sonic Mania?
Sonic Mania, yeah.
Sonic Mania, okay, that came out 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But then, even then, like, this is like, this movie
Also, they have all those games with Mario, too. There's, like, several Sonic games that came out.
What, like, Mario and Sonic at the Winter Olympic Games? That's getting fucking kids excited for this movie?
Sonic at the regular Olympic Games. And Team Sonic Racing came out last year. Sonic Forces came out 2017. Jake, they're still making Sonic games, like, out the ass. Like, arguably too many.
They haven't made like a mainline Sonic game.
You're
Sonic
just not a kid anymore, so you don't know about it.
Listen to what I'm saying. Sonic Mania they made 3 years ago, which, yeah, okay. But 3 years is a long time when you're making this movie that's, like, very, very specifically for 8-year-old kids, like, right in that age range. And it's not for the adults who would care more about Sonic, who have cared about Sonic for their whole lives, for, like, 20-plus years. They made so many choices to make this, like, a straight-up kids movie. And I think, like, that's not the fucking audience for this movie. I think, like, there are kids who like Sonic, obviously, but I also think, like, there's plenty of kids movies that are for kids, but also have more jokes for, like, the adults and more jokes that people of all ages can care about. Whereas this, I feel like the story is so simple. The character is so, like, I just didn't really care about any of it. I was like, this is a kids movie, and it does a fine job at being a kids movie. But, like, why are you making the Sonic the Hedgehog movie for kids when parents who have cared about Sonic for, like, their whole, like, a huge chunk of their lives, they're not getting anything out of this movie?
Jake, okay, for a Sonic adaptation, what did you expect? Like, what did you want? Did you want, like, a gritty Christopher Nolan Sonic the Hedgehog movie?
I didn't want the age range that it was intended for to be, like, 8 years old. I wanted it to be at least a little bit older, with, like, more jokes that, because even, like, the fucking Minions movies have jokes that, like, for only the parents, you know? Like, this is such classic, like, Nickelodeon, all those cartoons. There's always, like,
I just named a joke that was for only adults at the beginning of this conversation.
The joke being that a black woman doesn't like a cop.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's even a joke, first
of
all.
That's obviously a fucking something that only adults would get. Kids aren't going to understand that, like, why she doesn't like him right off the bat. That's the first thing that popped into my head was she doesn't like him because he's a cop and he's white. That was the first thing that popped in my head. And they didn't want to say that because it is a kids movie. But it's like, it's Sonic, Jake. What did you expect? Did you want, like, I know you didn't want, like, a rated R version. I know that's not what you're saying. But, like, this was borderline just as adult as it could be. Yeah, but what could they have done? I don't know.
The original.
I don't want to, like, get into a Halloween style argument about this with you, but I don't know what they could have possibly done to make it more adult than it already needed to be. I think it was fine the way it is. It achieved exactly what it got. What it sought out to do. Yeah, but
you liked the movie, so you would say that.
I know, I liked the movie because I felt that it achieved exactly what it sought out to do.
I agree that it achieved what it sought. I think it's stupid that it set out to do that. I think that they did a bad job in thinking who the audience for this movie would be, which in my theater there was a ton of, like, people our age, all these, like, fucking comic book nerds. Like, just give a little bit more for the grown-ups, you know?
Okay, I mean, I don't know what they could have possibly done. I don't know what they could have possibly done to make it more adult. And, like, in my theater, for example, there was plenty, it was like half and half. I mean, there was people my age, there was a lot of adults with their kids coming. And, yeah, I mean, it wasn't just, like, me there, you know?
But that's exactly my point. It's adults who care about Sonic bringing their kids.
And yeah, but a lot of times it's probably not like that. I don't know who these parents are. I don't know if they wanted to see the movie or if they're bringing their kids because their kids wanted to see them. All I know is, like, kids definitely still like Sonic. There's still relevant Sonic games being made. Like I said, my 9-year-old nephew loves Sonic. It is his favorite thing. Every time I talk to him, he talks about Sonic with me. So, like, it's still relevant for kids. It's just also relevant. I mean, that's what happens when you have a billion-dollar IP like Sonic. It's going to span several generations. It's not just for us. Sonic's, I think, bigger than you think.
It's not just for us. It's not for us at all. It's just for kids. That's my point. Like, okay, the new SpongeBob movie that's coming out, it's got Keanu in it, and it's, like, funny that he is part of it. And when the trailer for the SpongeBob movie came on, people laughed because Keanu was in that movie. There's nothing like that for us. There's nothing that the parents like. There's nothing to get excited about with this movie.
I mean, I disagree. I still just thought it was like a fun movie, and Jim Carrey in general, I feel like is enough for us to get excited about it because Jim Carrey was our generation and not like kids don't know who the fuck Jim Carrey is.
Kids care about Sonic, but not Jim Carrey.
Yeah, because Jim Carrey was out of the spotlight for the last like 10 years, and he just now got back in.
I don't know, dude.
I don't know. Give it a rating.
I give it like a 5 out of 10.
Okay.
I mean, it's a fine kids movie. And so if I was going to rate it as a kids movie, I'd probably also give it an 8. But as like a movie that I'm going to go and watch, I'd give it like a 5 out of 10 because it's just so simple and there's nothing to really care about in it.
I gave it an 8 because I know it's a kids movie, but it's also the type of kids movie that cuz they're like my nephew wants to watch all these movies and most of them are garbage. But I would actually enjoy watching Sonic with him if he wanted to put it on. I would actually think that would be fun. That's why I'm giving it an 8.
Like the Lego movie that's a kids movie, but that's also got like stuff that's got Will Ferrell for the adults, right? And then it's also got like all these
Yeah. Who had a great career and was in several sketches with Jim Carrey.
Yeah. I'm joking that's why, because that's what you said. But I'm saying, like, that has references that the parents care about. That's got, like, different... It's got so much more going on.
I mean, yeah, I think it bridges the gap. I'm just happy that Sonic is a video game movie that I actually enjoyed. That's really what I'm the most excited about. And
I don't even care. I'm glad that you liked it. You have a problem that I didn't like it.
I don't have a problem with. I don't have a problem. I'm just.
You want to fight me because I didn't like the movie as much as you did.
Jake, I think you're getting too defensive.
I'm not defensive at all.
I don't want to fight you because you didn't like the movie.
Why do you want to fight me then?
Just because your fucking face looks stupid. That's why I want to fight you. Because your fucking patchy beard, dude. That's why I want to fucking fight you.
It's not that patchy. It's just not all dark.
Do you want... Jake, look into the screen. Do you want to box? Do you want to box?
You?
Do you want a box? Do you want a box? Do you want a box to go? Take home? Okay, cool.
Also, like, what is Sonic's power level? Because it seems like it's vastly different at different times in the movie.
Yeah, he can exhaust it. Well, it explains it with, like, when he does that EMP thing, he has less power, I believe. I believe that's the explanation for it. And then, something to do with Robotnik's droids, too. I don't know. But, yeah, he's, like, recovering from that big blast.
Somehow he's recovering, but a single quill of his is enough to, like, for infinite power for... the fucking thing that
comparatively to Earth's shit, you know.
But he has like a million of those quills on his body, so why doesn't it power him up?
Well, obviously he is way more powerful than anything on Earth. If he set out the power of like 20 EMPs.
I'd say that the top 2 movie reactions of the past couple months, like from an audience, from one individual audience member, I'd say number 2 was when Han showed up in, what is that movie called? The Rise of Skywalker, and the girl next to me was crying. And number 1 was when Tails showed up at the end of this movie, and this guy was freaking out.
I did get a grown adult freaking out at Tails showing up for my stuff, for mine too.
What did you think was gonna happen?
That's exactly what I thought too. I was like, dude, yeah, they're gonna plug Tails at the end. I mean, that's just like how it goes.
Yeah. So here's what I think about, because if they're trying to make this into a franchise, like, then the 9-year-olds who care about Sonic are gonna age out before they can like make enough movies, right? Like, do you understand what I'm saying?
No, it's not, because they're gonna be following the movies as they grow old. So yeah, I mean,
They won't.
there's potential that they'll cast aside Sonic, but that's just up to their own personal preference. Like, it's like Marvel. Like, we watched Marvel when we were in middle school, and we followed it up until now.
Yeah, but the Avengers wasn't a kids movie. That's my whole point. What's a successful kids franchise?
The Lego Movie. You just named it.
It got a second one, which people didn't like nearly as much. Like, I'm talking about if they're trying to
I
really
liked
make
Lego
like a
Movie
Marvel
too.
universe.
I don't think
Yeah,
they're
but-
trying that. I don't think they're trying that with Sonic. I think they're gonna make like 1 or 2 movies and then they're gonna be done.
I don't. With all the fucking like what you're talking about last episode about how it looked just like the Marvel logo before it says Sega or Sonic.
I think they're gonna
It
try and
says.
make more Sega movies. Like, we might see a Battletoads movie coming up.
Yeah, exactly. They're gonna try to make this fucking universe, but they're gonna.
I would fucking see a Battletoads movie, Jake. I would absolutely see a Battletoads movie.
Okay, but like, do kids care about Battletoads?
No, it's probably more for adults, but they haven't.
So are they
made
gonna
that
make
movie
that?
yet.
Are they gonna make that an adult movie?
They might.
Are they gonna make that PG-13? So then they're gonna have this weird universe where they have a movie for like 9-year-olds and then a
Oh, so you mean
PG-13
like
movies?
how they have like the Avengers in the same universe as they have like Deadpool, like for adults? So you mean like that? And like
oh yeah, because
Logan?
those are made by the same studio, right?
Yeah, they're made by the same IP. They're made under the same IP. People who aren't big movie nerds can't tell the difference. Or like even X-Men. Okay, let's go to that example. So they made X-Men, a PG-13 superhero movie, and then they also made Logan. So it's a studio. They can make whatever the fuck they want.
I just don't think it's gonna be a successful business model, and I think that time will show that.
I disagree. I think that I think that if the IP is big enough, then it'll be successful. I think.
But it's not.
I think it will be.
Battletoads.
I think they'll have to really market Battletoads, but they'll definitely be building a Sega universe before they hit the point of Battletoads. That's if it ever happens.
What else is there? What else is there in this Sega universe? We talked about this last episode. There's nothing.
Yeah, I know. It might just be Sonic. It could just be
Are they gonna-
Sonic.
Is it gonna be fucking Sonic and then Tetris blocks and then Battletoads?
I don't know. It could be. I'm not sure. It could just be Sonic. Honestly, I kind of hope it's just Sonic, but if they do make Battletoads, that would be cool too.
Well, Sonic has been #1 at the box office 2 weekends in a row, so we're definitely getting the sequel. I
They haven't confirmed it yet.
don't care if they've confirmed it. I'm confirming it right now. We're definitely gonna get a sequel. It's gonna be bad. The universe is gonna fail. Darren's gonna admit I was right. So stay tuned for that.
Wait, no, I'm not saying. I never said the sequel isn't going to be bad.
That's my whole
I'm
point.
open to it being bad.
That's my whole point, is that they're setting up this universe in a bad way.
They're just doing it the same as Marvel did it. I don't understand.
Marvel didn't make their movie for 9-year-olds. They made it for general
9 through
audience.
13-year-olds.
Iron Man was for 9 through 13-year-olds?
I would say so. I was like 12 when I saw it.
But also, it's for like adults too.
I mean, sure. Yeah. I guess adults can enjoy it.
You think that Iron Man is just as much of a kids movie as Sonic?
Not necessarily. I mean, Sonic's more of a kids movie for sure.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, but I'm not saying that because you're watching Sonic, as an adult you're devoid of any enjoyment. You can enjoy it.
That's not what I'm
still.
saying either.
That feels like what you're saying. That's what I'm
saying I don't think they did a good job of catering towards a large part of their audience that is built in of people who have been Sonic fans for a long time. I think that there was a big audience that they have already established that they could have done a lot better job of entertaining with this movie. And while it's true that this movie was successful, financially at least, not critically, I think that they're going to have a hard time building a franchise going forward because the older people who care about the...
Critically, it hasn't done that bad either. It's kind of just... Let's see. Rotten Tomatoes, I think, has it has a 64% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, it's not like it's doing badly critically.
That's not what I said.
You said it's successful financially, not critically. Is exactly.
I wouldn't say a 64% is like the success. I don't. How do you rate success? Also, like Rotten Tomato. I'm just saying, like, it definitely has had that financial success, but I don't think that they're gonna be able to draw in as many people with a sequel because the kids who are watching this now could age out of it. The people who are just fans of Sonic didn't have enough to enjoy in this movie. I feel like they're really handicapping their audience with how they made this movie, and they're not gonna have a successful franchise from it.
Okay.
Jake, I think it's gonna go the way of the Dark Universe.
Jake, what are your final thoughts?
Darren's mad at me now.
I'm not mad at you. We're like an hour and a half in. We gotta wrap up. I don't understand. Why are you being so defensive today?
I'm not being defensive at all.
You're being very defensive about your bad
How
review
am I
of Sonic.
I'm not. I said it's fine that you felt
I
differently.
give your review of Sonic a fucking 3 out of 10. It's a piece of shit review. It holds no merit, and you should resign as a amateur movie critic who doesn't get paid for their reviews.
I get paid $20,000 a week for this.
You fucking...
You're right.
You agreed.
I'm sorry that
you agreed, but like at the beginning of this podcast, before we started recording, that you would send it all to me.
Oh, really? Before we started recording?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty legally binding. I guess I'll have to do that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that my review didn't just consist of me saying that I liked that he was a white cop with a black wife.
Well, that's okay. I forgive you.
Darren, what are your final thoughts? It looks like
you didn't say yours.
I'm trying to move.
I asked you first, and you didn't say them.
And you asked me, and then you fucking interrupted me in the middle of what I was saying.
Because you attacked me. You said
I didn't
mad
attack
at you.
you. It's not attacking you to say that
You
you're
said
mad at
I'm
me.
mad
That's
at
just
you,
a
and I
statement
was
of fact. You
explaining that
are
I'm
mad
not.
at me. You are.
I'm not mad at you.
Darren, just admit that you're mad at it. It'll be fine.
I'll admit that your review is a fucking 3 out of 10. Let's box.
That's fine.
Box me. Let's box.
Okay. But also, the terms of our contract are such that I can have anyone step in for me. I'm going to get DMX to do it.
I can box DMX. He's like 5'5".
Okay. Remember when DMX was going to box George Zimmerman?
That would have been really sad if he lost. That's all I can say.
Yeah, but actually, it all turned out fine with the George Zimmerman stuff.
Yep, A-okay there. Jake, what are your final thoughts?
Darren's mad at me.
Okay, cool. Those are your final thoughts.
I was thinking about how whenever my mom gets junk mail, she'll just rip it in half once and then throw it in the trash. And that got me thinking about like the person who wants to steal someone's identity, and they'll like dig through someone's trash, but then if they find an envelope that's torn in two, they're like, "Oh, that's too much work." Like, what is that? Who is that person that will dig through your trash but won't tape some paper together to steal your identity? That's I don't think that guy exists.
Are these your final thoughts?
Yeah.
Okay,
Sorry it's not just don't text at movies this time, Darren. Sorry to have different final thoughts for once. I had to bring something new and fresh for our first video pod.
I'm just going to say, hear people out sometimes. Sometimes people have good ideas. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Sometimes all they want for you is to listen. All they want from you is to listen. And give them that satisfaction every now and then. You know, if they're going through a tough time, it might be worth it. Just to give them a listen. You know? Whether you agree with them, disagree with them, you want to hear them or not, if you see someone going through a bad time, take some time to just try and hear them out, listen to what they have to say. Those are my final thoughts.
Can I just do one more final thought?
Sure.
You don't owe anyone anything. If someone wants your time and you don't want to give it to them, you don't have to. It's your time. You can do with it what you want. No one can make you do anything in this world. So just remember that. Cool.
So Jake, I don't know, was that an attack on my final thoughts?
No, I wasn't listening to yours. What were yours? I usually zone out when you're talking.
Get fucking David Lynch in here. I'm fucking sick of this podcast.
Alright, let me grab him.
God, I fucking want to quit.
Hey, there's tape on this.
God damn it. Alright, that's our new fucking sign out. Goodbye, everybody. Bye.